trailblazers. The likes of, you've heard, Nelson Mandela, Mother Teresa, right? People who wanted to make a difference, people who wanted to fight for something good. And Your Excellency, that is you. You are a trailblazer. When I came to this country, I didn't realise the significance of this conference and the outcomes that it would have. But already tonight we've learned the difference we've already made in the last 3 days, and the outcome document that Angelique has put together is outstanding, and I'm really, really looking forward to this country developing and going forward. Now, Sujay earlier mentioned about changing the game plan. Let me tell you a little bit about my story in my way, and why it's important to change that game plan. Why people like myself, Karthik in the crowd, Josh, Aaron, and others, so we can actually help people like that to not suffer, because we did. So, at the age of 3, in 1989, what should have been a holy morning of Ramadan turned out to be a rather treacherous one. I was always rather vivacious. Would get up first, even at 4 a.m, because that's what tummy would have to get up to eat. Wake up, and my parents noticed I couldn't see out of one eye. Instantaneously, that set the panic attacks, and straight away we were into hospitals. Within 12 hours, I lost sight in both of my eyes. Well, as you learned earlier, this didn't just damage my optic nerve, this damaged my life. In fact, I'd lost my sight, but my parents were only still teenagers. My mum was 17. You work that out for yourself. That's the barriers that we were facing, and that's the, well, in the 1980s, Pakistan, first cousin marriages, that early, yeah. You can figure out the rest. Okay, so I felt like a face without a name, a heart without a home. And this literally happened because after the hospitals came the religious leaders. I visited so many. I was told to do so many things to get my eyesight back. One of the most hilarious ones was to actually do roly-polies, because apparently it would set my brain going and I'd get my eyesight back. I didn't. But the other thing was, and the serious point, my name wasn't Hassan. My name was something else, and to this day I could not even pronounce it myself. Someone wise said change his name because he'll get his eyesight back. Well, I didn't get my eyesight back, but I got a proper name that I liked. So for the next 6 years, my hobbies were to go down to the local shops once a day if I was lucky, to watch TV once a day if I was lucky. My cousins would go to school and I would envy them. I couldn't even count up to 20. I'm ashamed of that fact. I didn't even know the alphabet. Do you know what? There's a wonderful Hungarian quote that says, being at the bottom of a coal mine, under the bottom of a frog. That equates to being useless, and that is what I was. I was disabled. And yes, you heard the quote. People would talk about me like I was absolutely nobody. And I remember this. Someone said, well, when his parents pass on, he's going to become an imam, or best, a beggar. I know. Being a 5-year-old, that really shouldn't have an effect on you, because as a child you would just go to your room and play with your toys and forget. Not me. I would go to that bathroom and cry my eyes out. I promise you. But I knew I was that person under the frog's backside. Useless. And until at the age of 9 in 1995, my sister also at the age of 3 lost her sight. There was a pattern there. We came to England, Great Ormond Street Hospital, wonderful hospital. They saw us. I was told there was nothing they could do. There was stem cell research going on, and that I might get my sight back in 50, 60 years. But you never know. I came home and I cried, and I was back to square one. And then I went to Linden Lodge School in Wimbledon in southwest London, and someone wrote my name. 6 characters, Hassan. It changed my life. I came home and I said, listen guys, if the Queen wants to send you home, good luck, because I'm not coming. And that is when my life started at the age of 10. That is when I could recite the alphabet and count to 100. And then, for several years, I wanted to play cricket. I had this fear of cricket, actually, because when I was growing up, I wouldn't make friends. There was a very good reason for it. I know we're pushed for time, but there's a very good reason for it. At the age of 5, I was told that I should make friends even though I didn't go to schools. I didn't go to school. So I went to a local mosque and I made a friend with a guy who was poorer than me. And he came over to my house to play cricket. Now, I wouldn't pick up a bat because I was blind, useless, right? I would commentate just on the sounds of the game. He said he wanted to go back and get his own bat. You know why he said that? Because he was embarrassed of being poor, poorer than I was. And that day, I had a feeling he wouldn't come back. Later on that night, I learned he drowned. And he died because he went to play cricket with his poorer friends.